that you used to see with using antibiotics. So does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
Okay.
but this is still for if you say probiotics as alternative to the antibiotics, it is still, if we go back to the antibiotic function, it is still for the growth promotion function. So that is the strategy, try to overcome the regulation then.
Yeah, I think it was a matter of trying to reduce the risk by no longer using or reducing the use of antibiotics that are important for human medicine. The use of probiotics is a totally different way of managing the microbial populations in the gut of the animals to give the same types of benefits, derived benefits, but without utilizing any antibiotic. So that's another area, of intense research. The challenges with the use of probiotics are that because you're typically administering live bacteria, or sometimes it's a yeast preparation, or sometimes it's a fungal preparation. The problem that you have is that if you're trying to feed live organisms to the pigs or poultry or other livestock species, it can be challenging to keep those bacteria, those organisms alive as you're preparing the feed for the animals. So most livestock feed comes as a pelleted form, and during the pelleting process, the bacteria in the probiotic are exposed to high temperatures or high amounts of pressure, and that can result in a loss of the numbers of viable alive bacteria. And so that creates a challenge in terms of being able to administer these probiotic or direct-fed microbial type products to the animals and have a consistent exposure to the correct numbers of bacteria. In other words, it's hard to get an accurate dose of the probiotics. Now, one way that companies are getting around that is that bacteria, of course, have evolved over the millennia to have the ability to survive in different environmental conditions. And so one of the ways they do this is they will form what are known as spores. Once a bacteria forms a spore, the spore form of the bacteria is very resistant to heat and very resistant to pressure. And so instead of having the bacteria applied to the food or to the feed as just viable bacteria, what some of the companies are doing now is they're utilizing strains of bacteria that form spores, and then they're adding the bacterial spores to the feed before it's processed, and that allows the bacteria, those spores, to survive the pelleting and those processes used to manufacture the feed. And then when the animals consume the feed with the spores, the bacteria come out of the spores and populate the gut. And so it's utilizing, again, a natural ability of the bacteria to survive in hostile environments and then still be able to deliver the intended dose of the bacteria. So that's one of the areas of intense research right now is selecting, different spore-forming bacteria as potential probiotics. And so, for example, Bacillus is a genus of bacteria that is getting a lot of interest because it has this capability.
But in terms of the type of the bacteria, it will be